Hi everyone. Hi Mom. Okay, I've had a few requests on putting together a file folder journal. So I'm going to attempt to show you some of what I do to prepare for that. Now before I get started, let me just jump up. I've got to grab my Tyvek. Just realized I forgot that. Okay, this is how my Tyvek comes. I know that Crafty Irina's on her channel, she talks about the Tyvek tape that she uses in her journals. I really wish I had that stuff because I think that's pretty amazing. No cutting and pasting in the whole 9 yards. But this is what I have, so this is what I use. And it's just those security envelopes. That's the same stuff. Okay, so I am going to use this kit, and I believe it's from Engrapho. I will link in the description box below the Etsy store that I purchased this from. I blew this one up to the full 8.5 by 11, and I will be cutting some of it away because it's going to be too big for the journal that I want to make. I've chosen, though, to use, okay, these are the pages, so this is how it printed out for me. So it's a little bit smaller than 6 by 8, I believe. It's, you know, a little small. You can see it's almost the size of an 8.5 by 11. So folded in half, it's about 5.5, I think. So I need to trim all the outside off because I don't want the white lines. And in the center part, I'll probably just ink that up. So there's like tons of journaling pages that I printed out back to back. So they're the same on either side, but there are patterns as well that I will intersperse. I don't know that I'm going to use this. I'm debating. This is taken out of a composition book. You just unstitch it, and then I just pull it out, coffee stain it or tea stain it, and then I cut it down to size for the journals I make. It's already got the holes in it, so it's, you know, pretty simple to sew back in. And then my file folders are just from the dollar store, so I think there's 10 in a pack for $1.25. They're not the greatest, but by the time I end up reinforcing the spine and using decoupage to adhere my front and back covers and then my inside covers, it ends up being a fairly sturdy book. And I want something that's bendy. So I don't want to over enforce it because then it'll be kind of stiff. So for those who've asked, this is what I do. Decide on the size that I want my journal to be. And I cut down my folder to accommodate that. Now, like I said before, let's just take this and fold it in half. So I'm just going to take this piece of paper that's printed on both sides. I'm just going to fold it in half and line it up and then kind of do some measuring with it. So you can see, if I cut that away and I leave a little bit of white, then it would kind of match the spine as well once that's all inked up. So I can go ahead and cut my first page. So I've just folded it in half because, you know, it's kind of the same. And I can cut them together at one time. And then I'll get sort of an idea, a little more off, of the size it's going to be. So that is about the same size as that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the long edge. Just cut it away. And I've said this before with your cutters, if your handle is up at the top, put your paper down on the bottom, and I've got the fold facing it, so it's not going to shift my paper. And I hold, let's see if I can get that in frame. I hold my hand down at the bottom here. It gives it a little bit more stability. I've had a number of questions on how to get your paper straight. It really depends on your cutter. If your blade is really wiggly, you're going to struggle. Not everybody can afford, I know that because I was one of them for a long time, a good cutter. They range anywhere from $80 to $150. It really depends on how much money you want to spend. Okay, so this is approximately what I want to do, so that when I ink this part up and I continue my inking around, it's going to match. If there's a little bit of white showing, that's okay. I don't mind that so much. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure. Let's just fold this up. This is a Fisker, if anybody wants to know, the cutter. And it's probably the best thing I've ever bought. I believe I paid $80 for it. Okay, so it measures 5 5/8 by 8 1/8. So I'm going to cut my journal cover 8 1/2 by, I'm probably going to want to put tabs in it, so I'm going to allow for that, and I'm going to make it not quite 5 3/4, I think. So 8, what did I say? 8 1/4. Let's go 8 1/4. Let's do that part first. Wrong way. Let's go this way. No, I better not. Let's do this way first. Just because it's a weird shape. So what did I say the width I wanted was, not quite 5 3/4. So let's go 5 5/8. Let's try that. When in doubt, I lay my paper on top. Gonna go a little bit wider. I can always trim it off, but I can't glue it back on. And I save my little offcuts because I'll back tags and things with those. And then I want it 8 1/4. And again, I'm going to lay that on there. Yeah, 8 1/4 is perfect, I think. Okay. Ooh, that'll make a cute little booklet. All right. So that's what I do for my file folders. You can decide whether you want to corner round them or, you know, angle cut them, leave them like they are. I generally, with these, I like a rounded corner, personally. So I'm going to grab my, this is an old Creative Memories corner cutter. I just find it works really great for me. So just to let you know, this might end up going into 2 parts, and I will just continue to talk, and I will try and remember to glance at the time. Okay, now, I'm not going to need this right now. I want to, first off, grab my Tyvek. Now you see, this stuff does not tear. It is really strong, but it's nice lightweight, so it doesn't add a lot of bulk to your project. And I'm just going to kind of guesstimate here how much I want to use. I think folded in half might be perfect. Let's see. About the right, yep, that's about right. And then I'm just going to, I don't go right to the very end. Almost, though. And you can get all fancy and do the measurements, and I'm not fancy. So I'm just going to cut it there, and then I'm just going to give it a little snip here, and then I'm just going to sort of, hopefully, do this a little even. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut it down its spine because I only need one piece. It's all going to be covered with paper, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and oh, that's really crooked. I'm going to put that in with some gloss medium. Actually, no, I lied. I'm going to use my decoupage. So that's the name of that. Let me grab my brush. Come here, you. And I need a paper towel. My brushes are almost always sitting in water. So I just take a folded piece of paper towel and I blot my brush. It's not too runny. I don't want to make the glue too runny. Now, in this case, where's my pencil? Here it is. Okay. In this case, I'm just going to lightly mark where I'm putting my Tyvek. Oh, is that even in the middle? Yeah, sort of. Now, I guess I should tell you the reason I do this. When you stitch in, you want to strengthen your spine so that the thread doesn't pull right through the holes and tear your cover. After all the work you're going to do to it, you know, you don't want it to tear apart. So that's why I use the Tyvek. Now I just find it simpler to put the decoupage on the actual file folder instead of the Tyvek, which is why I marked the pencil lines, because I want to make sure that it's going to go right to the edge. You want it well covered, but you don't want it sloppy. And I think you're able to just see it a little bit easier on the manila folder than you are on the Tyvek itself. Boy, I feel like I haven't done anything for you guys in such a long time. And all of a sudden I'm really in the mood to craft. Okay, just lay that down. I quickly rub it down with my hands, but then I'll take my really grungy roller. I have two. I have one that's nice and one that's really grungy that I use for all the adhesives. So really give it a good roll. So then the plan is, for inside, I want one big sheet. And I can use a 12 by 12 because this measures less than 11 across. So that's perfect. That's why I like these file folders, because you can do that all in one and it will cover your Tyvek. You don't have to worry that any's going to show. And yeah. It's a good way for me to use up my paper too. So I'll probably use cardstock rather than paper. I don't want anything showing through. And I need to let this dry. And if you don't, you're going to end up with a lot of bubbling. So that has to go aside and dry. Then what I want to do is measure out for my covers. Now, because I did oversized covers, what did I do with them, you guys? They're in here somewhere. Here they are, the very back. So because these are oversized covers, I am going to lose quite a lot in the picture. I think I want this part because I really love the poppy in this. But I don't throw anything out, so I might be able to salvage some of this. This might look kind of neat as a tuck spot. Now that I think about it, no, that probably won't work. I was thinking about wrapping it on the inside as a tuck spot. Would that work? It just might. I'm not dead certain. But I do want to cut the length. So I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to leave a little border. Do I want to leave a border? If I'm going to tuck it, then no. If I'm not going to tuck it, then I could. No, I think I'm going to put it right to the top here and draw my line here so I know where I want to cut it. So for now, I'm just going to cut the bottom off it. See. I'm going to go this way so that I can actually measure how much I want off. So in this case I can line my pencil line up with the metal part underneath, and then so this is going to measure 1 notch past 2.5 is what I'm going to remove. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this one. 1 notch past 2.5. Should be exactly the same. All right. Oh, I guess I should have cut the, let's trim the edge here. Trim this off. Now the way I do that is I line up the top here with the metal and the bottom with the metal. Hopefully that'll be correct. And then I'll do the same on this side. And then that's as far as I'm going to cut because I'm debating whether I want to do tuck spots, but I will take this white part off. All right, so there's one. And oh, I'm just so picky, I tell you. Sometimes I annoy myself. Okay. There. And there. Take that off. Okay, so this is going to be my front cover. And I know it's all upside down to you guys, but I just want to make sure I can always trim it after I glue it down. That's really pretty, isn't it? And then that's going to be the back. Oh, that's going to fit just perfectly. I wonder, maybe what I'll do, I think what I might do is put this one down first and then this one over so that this piece lines up with the spine. I think I might do that, which means I'm going to glue this part down first. Now when I use decoupage or gel medium and I know that I want to ink my papers, I always use the archival ink. I like the potting soil color. So I don't know, what do you think? Should I bend that back or should I just go to the edge? Let's see. If I want it to here, it'll be that much of a tuck. Wow, I didn't measure that very well, did I? That might look kind of nice, hey? And then, you know, once I've got that down, then I would have to recut my corners, but that's not a big deal. Yeah, I really cut that wrong. That's okay. I can trim that off. It's not a big deal. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to like that. I think I'll do that. So then this one is going to be in front of the fold line, like so, and flip that over, and then bend that in, just to get my crease. Okay, so that's going to be a tuck spot once I get the inside done. Okay, so let's set that aside and continue to dry. Then I'm going to go ahead and ink all my edges with the potting soil. Wow, that looks really good. Look at the color on that. It's a really pretty kit. Of course, they're all colors that I love, coral, and even the red. It's kind of an orange red, and that's the color I like. Love green. What's my time at? I'm at 23 minutes. So, I'll just finish inking this up. Then I will stop the video. This will be part 1. When I come back for part 2, I will have the inside cover put on, because all this takes dry time. You shouldn't all do it in one go because it'll warp pretty bad. And if you're using a thinner paper, this is 32 pound weight photo paper. redriver.com. I tell that to everybody. It's really, really good quality paper. But if you're using just a printer paper, then it's much thinner. So if you over soak it with your, you know, your decoupage or your Mod Podge or whatever you're using, excuse me, you run the risk of it tearing because you've over soaked your paper and it starts to move. So I know this is the hardest thing for me, is to be patient. I'm not patient, and I have almost ruined many a book with my impatience. So I recommend that you wait, you let it dry really well. You know, give it a good couple of hours and come back to it. Okay, so that's going to be the front, and this is going to be the back cover. You can see that it's still kind of warpy. It's recommended, I recommend that you put a book on it, you know, until it's dry, which I will be doing. And don't bend it until it's fully dry, and then you can bend the spine back into it. And then what I'll do is I will put the inside paper on. It's no big deal. I'm just going to use my decoupage, same deal. And I am going to cover it, even though this is going to fold over. I don't want any of the file folder showing, so I am going to cover it fully end to end. And then I'll come back and, you know, we'll do the front cover. And we'll make this a progression of videos. Somebody wanted, sorry, that went out of focus. Somebody wanted start to finish, but my camera doesn't pause, and it only will record for 30 minutes at a time. And then you're going to get part 1, part 2, part 3 anyways. So I will just stop it and, you know, just continue on with the videos as long as it takes to do a completed book. I will show you the embellishments and the whole bit. Okay? Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.